Well, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is calling on Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow to reject a pay raise as she tries to get support for a historic property tax increase.
And for more, we're joined by Jay Goldberg, the Ontario Director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Jay, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. So your organization cites Mayor Chow's salary as nearly $217,000 with a requested increase of $7,600. That's not even a 10% increase. Why are you against that in a time of inflation? I mean, yeah.
Well, look, we think that Mayor Chow is already making over $200,000 a year from the taxpayer. It's tens of thousands more than other local mayors. It's far more than the mayor of Hamilton, far more than the mayor of Mississauga, far more than the mayor of Brampton. And so what we're saying is Mayor Chow is already one of the best paid mayors in the country. And at the same time, she's asking the average family to fork over an extra $758 in property taxes this year. We're in a situation where 400,000 Ontarians are working two jobs. We're in a situation where 50% of Canadians say they're $200 away from not being able to pay their bills. And Mayor Chow here is asking for a raise when she's asking for more and more out of everyone's pocket. So I think right now is the time for politicians to show solidarity, to understand the difficult asks they're making of taxpayers. And a really good way to show that and make some gestures would be for Mayor Chow to reject this increase in pay.
So I understand the point that you're trying to make, but even if Olivia Chow rejected this less than 10% raise, it would still leave the city of Toronto with a massive budget hole. So are you asking for this as a symbolic gesture?
I think it is a symbolic gesture because, look, if Mayor Chow is asking for Toronto taxpayers to go through the most difficult tax year in the history of the city, and if she is asking for a tax hike of more than 10%, which she is, I think it's incumbent upon Mayor Chow to say, look, I get it. Times are tough. We're asking a lot from you. And so I'm going to show leadership and I'm going to take something away from myself and give it back to the city. And frankly, city councillors should be looking at doing the same thing because people are really hurting. They're looking to increase taxes at the highest rate in the history of the city of Toronto. And if they're really looking at that, that is the exact wrong time to be asking for a pay raise. If they can balance the budget, make sure that taxes were to stay low and do a really good job, then maybe we could talk about a raise. But council has not been doing a good job. We're in a fiscal mess. Spending is up over 50% compared to where it was 5 years ago. This is the time for politicians to take responsibility for the mess that we're in at City Hall and show leadership by taking a pay cut or a pay freeze first.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying lead by example, but also, is it fair to compare the mayor of Toronto's salary, the fifth largest city in North America, to that of smaller cities in the region?
Well, look, I think Mayor Chow, she already is making over $200,000. She was a federal member of parliament for more than 6 years, so she has a pension from her time as an MP. I don't think that the mayor is particularly hurting for money right now. And look, the average taxpayer in Ontario makes somewhere in and around $60,000. We're talking about that is many times higher than the average taxpayer. So you can compare this mayor's salary to salaries in Hamilton or New York City or wherever you want. But this is a heck of a lot of money. She's in the top 1%. And look, we often hear about folks wanting the top 1% to pay their fair share. Well, Mayor Chow could show leadership by, as a member of the top 1%, not accepting any kind of pay increase this year.
Right. So, again, Olivia Chow turning down a $7,600 raise is not going to fix the city's problems. But you are obviously asking for the city of Toronto to look for bigger efficiencies. Where should she cut at City Hall?
Well, look, we have a situation where, and some of the mayoral candidates spoke to this in the last election, in the by-election, that, for example, with construction costs, the city has very difficult rules for which construction companies can get certain contracts. In many cases, they have to be fully unionized. And Brad Bradford, a councillor on city council right now, who also ran for mayor, noted that if they were to make that change and allow for all construction companies to compete for some of these contracts, that the city could save up to $200 million a year. So I think that's something that would make a very big dent And also, if we were to look at not increasing spending as much as we are this year. Look, if we didn't increase spending $1 this year compared to last year, the city would be running a huge surplus. The plan right now from Councillor Carroll and Mayor Chow is to increase city spending by $840 million this year over last year. We could freeze property taxes this year and still have $400 million to spend on increasing spending. So we're in a situation where the City Hall's going spend, spend, spend. But in reality, we have the capacity at City Hall. We have the money to fix this budget problem without raising taxes. And the way to do that is to rein in spending.
All right, Jay Goldberg, the Ontario Director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.